I don't know what that is. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? James Williams, Dark Waters, the one and only Stinkonian ambassador. And I'm back. Today's smoke break is actually the beginning of work because it's been a delayed start of the day. Um, I'm still waiting on YouTube to remove this ad suitability for my video on Clear Swag. I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't know that they're going to do it because I think they're hating on me, but nonetheless, that's what YouTube does. What up, Mud? Bruh. Hey, man. Just yesterday, I was talking to y'all about Westmore, right? Go look, type in Westmore. Teach y'all something, a little bit something about politics, the politicians. So Westmore came out and said, I will not seek the nomination. I support Joe Biden. It's always the exact opposite of what's being said. So that's his word, way of saying, I'm open to the nomination, but throwing an endorsement behind Joe Biden. Remember, it ain't what they say, it's the opposite of what they say. I will not seek the 2024 nomination. He said, I stand behind Joe Biden. That's him signaling that he's open to it. Now, here's the thing. He couldn't get no traction in the news. When you say, I'm not seeking something, it's your way of getting your name into the race, getting your name into the hat to see what kind of traction you're going to get. Well, the brother didn't get no traction at all. I think it's maybe 5 news articles on it. Because he got trounced by the other great news today, which was that I don't know why it took the Supreme Court so long to decide this one, that presidents have immunity. That's just dumb. It's been known forever. You know what I'm saying? And so that one ended up coming out today, which is another awesome thing. We got 13 people in here, only one person talking. I mean, I got my 12 haters. What's up, my 12 haters? Y'all always here first, boy. Looking for something. Let me see what we can find on Dark Waters. Yeah, let me see what we can get on them. We're going to find something on them. Even though he's been online for 12 years, 10 years, and if anything on him was going to come out, it would have came out. So yeah, I think it's crazy. Just common sense stuff needs to be revealed. I mean, just straight up common sense stuff needs to be revealed. That the president has immunity from prosecution. If not, then judges rule and reign not corporate judges, corporately influenced judges that have been appointed in positions, DAs and federal judges and state judges can run the country. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they just a bunch of crazy, dirty, sandy beaches. And I told y'all yesterday it was war everywhere. And you see the war all over the place. All kind of war. So, what are your thoughts on Freemasonry? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what does it matter? What are my thoughts on Freemasonry? I don't understand how people. I don't understand how people like you. They hinge on. What about Freemasonry? What about the Nephilim? What are your thoughts on Freemasonry? That's truly what you want to know. You want to share what you know. Not you don't give a damn about what I know. So just tell me what you know. Told y'all a question is a seed for an answer. Well, not all answers is what people are looking for. They looking to say what they want to say. So, what are your thoughts on Freemasonry? Because I don't even know how we got to that. All right, back to what I was saying. So, um, we got Michelle, we got Hitlery, literally Hitlery, um, and there's a huge problem on people's hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, for the remaining black vote that they got, you can't pass Kamala Harris. They told everybody Kamala Harris is black, even though she's an Indian. So you can't just jump past Kamala, because then you're going to offend all the black women that you got. This is a pickle, man. Black men ain't rocking with them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't happening. Black men is not rocking with them. So now the dilemma you have is either you keep old Sleepy in there, put the mask on, whoever that is, and have the mask man come out and do whatever they're gonna do. Um, or you take old Sleepy out of there, remove him, and you got a problem. What's the problem? Well, I mean, you got to deal with the Kamala issue. You know what I'm saying? You jump past Kamala, you're gonna piss a whole bunch of people off because y'all been pushing this diversity, equity, inclusion, BLM stuff for the past 8 years. So I mean, how do you solve that problem? I got an idea how you solve it, but I ain't telling that. But how do you solve that problem? That's a very complicated problem. All right, very very complicated problem. Because she got to be the first female black president. I mean, she got to be. According to them, even though she wouldn't be black, she would be Indian. But nonetheless, they done showed off as being black. Then you add in the fact that I don't watch TV, but I get the alerts for trends. And so then you got the BET Awards last night, and they had Taraji B. Henderson trying to take the mantle as the one who talks about politics, which I think is crazy. I don't know if y'all know who Taraji P. Henderson is. Um, the best way I can see, she's like the chick that was on Empire TV show with the guy that said 1+1=2. But so now she's the spokesperson. It was Diddy and them at first, and Jay-Z and all the rest of them. They can't talk right now. They got busted them out. So somebody got to rise to the occasion, and it's Taraji rising to the occasion, which I think is crazy. Would anybody that listen to an actor or a ball player or um, for who they should vote for is 2 steps away from a lobotomy? You know what I'm saying? For real. They couldn't get what's your girl's name with the long nails. You can't get Cardi B no more because Cardi done woke up to all the inflation and the craziness. So all they got is Taraji P. Henderson, which is crazy. That's supposed to swing the black vote. And it's absolutely insane. Then I'm gonna tell you what else got me. And I'm gonna get off of this. I'm watching these videos, and these are paid shields. Just want to be clear with you. All over TikTok. It hadn't really hit YouTube yet. It was all over TikTok. These paid shields, which are black women who are sitting there saying everybody shouldn't abandon Joe Biden. Like, no, you shouldn't. We're not going to abandon Joe. We're not going to abandon Joe. And I'm sitting there saying, hold up, Dirty Sandy Beach. In our community, the divorce rate is skyrocketing. You'll abandon your man, your husband, but you won't abandon Joe? The same person who put majority of black men in prison and destroyed generations? I'm like, man, this is crazy. I mean, it's absolutely insane and crazy. I mean, it's just pure insanity. Brother, you can't have nothing bad enough to distract from this foolishness. I mean, bro, you got to have a nuclear bomb go off to distract from this. You got to. And then here's what you got to understand. There's forces around the world that are sitting there watching this saying, okay, they need a distraction. America's weak. You know what I'm saying? They need a distraction. So they're sitting there looking from their Secret Service agents and all that, trying to make sure that nothing pops off that they can take the blame for. People always, they don't never factor in the intelligence of other nations. So they realize what's going on. They got their own versions of CIA, Secret Service, Special Services. They know what's going on. They know more than American people know what's going on. So they sit and say, no, we're not about to take this fall. You know what I'm saying? We're not about to take the blame for this. And we ain't going to be your scapegoat. So now I don't see them doing anything. If anything happens, it's going to be the deep state civil war that's going on right now amongst each other. So the biggest distraction they can get, and it's a problem. The only reason why Joe don't have no stroke or fall off a plane or do nothing like that is because it presents the problem, the Kamala problem. If you do something to him, you still got the problem with Kamala. So you got to get her under control. You got to find a way to move her out of the way. If you try and take both of them out at the same time, that's too much for America to handle. So you can't do that. I mean, it's a pickle, man. It's a pickle. If you move her in there, move Joe out, move her in, move Michelle in, she ain't that popular at all. So now you're going to have two black women running the nation? That ain't going to work. That ain't about to happen. That just ain't going to work. That's not going to go. That's not going to work in a voting booth. You know what I'm saying? You can move in the true vampire, Gavin. That ain't going to work because he destroyed California. You can't move Barack back. You can bring him out to talk. One hell of a speaker. But everybody already feel like Barack been behind the scenes making moves, which of course he has been. It's problems, man. It's pressure. As my youngest say in the street, man, that's that pressure, Jay. That's that pressure on. It's pressure on all sides. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see how it work out because it's too much pressure. Way too much pressure. So, all right, off of that, on to the videos that we've done. I'm going to do a deep dive into Lake Lanier. Because I was watching all these people talking about Lake Lanier. It's haunted. Lake Lanier. This. Lake Lanier. That. Lake Lanier. And then I'm going to take the other lake and bring it forward. But I'm watching people talking about how Lake Lanier is cursed and how 200 people drowned in Lake Lanier and how there was this black foundations and cities that were there that were burned down and all the rest of this. And I'm saying, yeah. I hear all that stuff y'all talking about. I hear all that y'all talking about, but in order for something to be cursed, there's certain criteria that have to happen. It may just be 200 people drowned because they can't swim. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of those viral things that people talking about, but I don't see nobody really putting forth no research. You know what I'm saying? Because people jump on the trends. Oh, Lake Lanier is trending, so they go pop up Lake Lanier, blah, 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 blah. There were these people who died there. I don't doubt that people died there at all. But Lake Lanier this, Lake Lanier that. And because I'm migrating to wherever I want to migrate, I'm going to apply this brain that God gave me to Lake Lanier today. I'll probably do it real quick. Not too much of a deep dive. But we need to see. We need to see if it's a man-made lake, which it is. And there was land there before. You need to see who inhabited that land. Not what they say, but who actually inhabited it. And then who inhabited it prior to that. Because what blood was shed on it prior to that to see what's really going on. Like, for example, New Orleans. Bro, the principality of New Orleans is all about bloodletting, bloodshed. It's about that action. That's why so many people die. That's why so much murder all over the place. It's about that action. So if there's anything that's in the area, it's going to be a principality. If there's anything spiritual. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it boils down. But you can't go into saying things are cursed and saying it's haunted and this without figuring out what was there. And really saying what's that. Yeah, you're right. It could be somebody that don't know how to swim too. Now, some of the stories I heard don't sound like it was a swimming issue. I haven't seen any video of it, so I want to see a video of somebody going on the water. But one of the stories was a whirlwind of water opened up and sucked somebody down. That ain't normal. That ain't normal. Sorry, there ain't nothing about that that's normal. So we'll see. I'm interested in seeing for myself. Um, quite frankly, that's how come when I go on interviews, I can talk about so many topics and swing left and right because I literally do my own research on things. And when something's trending like that all over the place, um, you got to look at it. My homie said you sound like the smart black guy that makes it to the end of the horror movie. I would be the dude that made it to the end of the horror movie, bro. I would definitely be the dude who make it to the end of the horror movie. Because I'll be the dude at the beginning saying, yo, listen, this is Camp Crystal Lake, homie. This Camp Crystal Lake, homie. Jason is here. They be like, there's no such thing as Jason. Nah, bruh. You don't hear that. I be like, y'all don't hear that? And I'll be one walking away. Yo, Jason, homie, listen. These people deserve to die. They don't believe that you here. I am leaving, Jason. Letting you know I'm getting the hell up out of your area. Kill all of them. And I turn back to the people and say, look, I'm telling you right now, Jason is coming to whack y'all. It's going to be a horrible death. You got a giant machete. You can shoot him. You can hit him with cars. You can burn him. Jason don't die. He's been traumatized since he was a child. They did bad things to him. I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's Michael Myers, whichever one it was. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not a movie buff, bro. You get the point of that I'm making. I'd be like, listen, we need to get the hell from around here. And they ain't going to listen. Because that's their job in the movies, to not listen. And while they're not listening, I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to be the dude in the car driving off. I'll come back 2-3 days later in the daylight, in the daytime, early in the morning, at sunrise when the sun is nice and bright. Walk around, look at all the dead people. You know what I'm saying? Call the police. Like they all got whacked by Jason. Or Michael Myers, whichever one of it was that was from Camp Crystal Lake. Or Camp Tiki Hana. You know what I'm saying? Like on site, Camp Tiki Hana. It might be Camp Tiki Hana. It might not be Crystal Lake. But either way it goes, it's somebody killing somebody. And I'm not going to be the one to die. I'm just going to forget. So I will make it to the end of the horror movie. And if I was to ever make a horror movie, my horror movie would be the black guy makes it to the end. That would be the name of my horror movie. The black guy makes it to the end. It'd be multiple black dudes that don't make it. It'd be some Hispanics, some Asians, some whites, some Kablasians, some Japtalians, all kind of people. They'll be in the movie. It'd be real diverse. But I'll be the dude that make it to the end. You know what I'm saying? Probably me and one of the Japtalians. Because they probably could speak that language strong. I remember me and my homie was out in the foundation room one night, and we came up with that phrase, Japtalian. Time where after Katrina, where all the Chinese and Japanese businessmen were coming to the city, and they were all trying to buy property. And it was funny because they were coming, and that was the only place where people that actually you could really hang out was the French Quarters after Katrina, because the majority of the city was freaking dark. It was still being renovated. You go in the areas of the city, they didn't have no power. There was no people there. The French Quarters was always popping. They weren't having concerts at the House of Blues, but the House of Blues was open restaurant-wise because of all the contractors. Bourbon Street was open. The ladies who were shaking, making money hand over fist because you just had construction crews all over the world getting paid overtime, just dropping money everywhere. None of that. So I painted a picture, you guys, of what was going on. And so they come in. Chinese guys come in first. We tell those Chinese guys, man, nobody doing no business with you. Does anyone know a good church in Baton Rouge? I'll find one for you. I know some people out there. And And then the Japanese come in. And I never forget, we getting on the elevator. I don't know if you ever been, but when you go into the foundation room, you have to have a key card. You scan key card, beep, lets you in this door. Then to get on the elevator, hit the button, greet the guy, hit the button. But for the elevator to move, you got to hit the key card again, beep. So we get in the elevator, and we scan the key card, and it's about to close, and these two Japanese guys get in. And so they just talking in English. And my friend is like, well, Tisha Morima, and start talking to them in Japanese. And they get surprised because he knows how to speak Japanese. And so they go back and forth having this conversation in Japanese. And I really think he started cursing the dude out because the dude starts to get angrier and angrier and angrier. Or maybe the guy was offended because he could speak. I don't know what the hell was going on. But when your doors open up, there's this tapestry on the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Most beautiful tapestry you ever seen. So you got to walk down a corridor that's probably about 30 feet long. Then it opens up into the bar room. To the right-hand side is the bar. On the left-hand side was like a seating area. You kind of swing and make a hard right around the bar, and there was a stage area you could sit in. Then you make a left by that stage, and you're going back to the prayer room, which was this giant room where everybody would party. So we going back to the room we got reserved. Head on back to the room we got reserved. Start ordering our bottles of Cayman's Conundrum, which was the wine that we would drink back then in those days. Order 3 bottles of Cayman's Conundrum because we got a whole bunch of people coming. And so in come the Japanese dudes. And they just come in and sit down. And the first guy says, well, we've heard that you guys are people to do business with New Orleans. And my partner just goes off. He was like, I don't do business with Japtalians. And I'm looking at him. And I'm like, what you say? I don't do business with Japtalians. And you know how there's something that somebody says that's so off, but yet hilarious, but it takes a minute for it to like hit what he's saying? Like my brain hits this mud hole, like boom, Japtalian. And then I realized he said, oh, Japanese mobsters is what he mean by Japtalian. And so they look at him, what did you call us? He said, I called y'all Japtalians. Y'all know where y'all at? Y'all in New Orleans. We don't do business with no Japtalians. And now I'm starting to realize what he's saying, and I'm looking at their faces, and I can't help it. I just bust out laughing. I'm talking about that laughter to where you literally crunch over, fall out your chair, and laugh, which made it even more offensive. Quite frankly, it made it 10,000 times more offensive because now he's talking reckless to you, and I'm laughing. And in walks 2 more of them. So now it's 4 against 2, and I'm still dying laughing because it's hilarious to me that he's continuously to say it. Then they have another conversation in Japanese. Everybody start arguing back and forth in Japanese. And I'm knowing that we got like 15, 20 people on their way, and they never late. We about 5 minutes early. So there's arguments going on in Japanese. And then in walks all the rest of our people. And so they're coming in, and they come into this argument that nobody understands what's being said, but him and them. I don't know what's being said. None of the rest of the people know what's being said. But you can read body language. You know what I'm saying? You can read body language. So now it's 10 at 4, then 12 at 4, then 15, 4. Now these all dudes. The girls ain't even made it here yet. And so once they realize that it's way more us than them, and we ain't just talking about black people, it's blacks, Latinos, a few Italian guys that was running with us. Once they realize it's way more us than them, they calm down, they start to talk normal. Like, hey, we're trying to figure out, what do we need to do to buy property? And we've been told that you guys, la, 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 la. Now, they already got one response. We don't do no business with no Japtalian. I'm still with tears on my eyes. I have an upper abdomen stomach cramp. You know that cramp at the top of your abs to where if you move, it hurts? Like if you breathe, it hurts? I have that going on. So now they start talking to other people. They start talking to my friend Aaron. And so they start trying to talk to Aaron. Aaron, West Point graduate, smart, super smart guy. So they're trying to talk to Aaron, I guess because, he's taller. He's like the white guy that stands out. So I guess they're thinking, okay, well, we talk to these Negroes, we're going to talk to the white guy, right? So they start talking to him. And he looks at him. I don't do no business with no Japanese. I don't know you. This is New Orleans. We don't do business like that. And I'm laughing again because they're not realizing that's not how you come into the city. Ain't nobody just going to let you in to do nothing. And so next thing you know, they get up and they leave. Then the girls come. and they go to the little stage area on the outside. It's right next to the women's bathroom. If you ever been to the House of Blues, you know I'm telling you the truth. Because I'm describing the place that we hung out at. So they go to the stage, which was reserved by us, by the way, as overflow. So they go to the stage. I know they go to the stage because I go to the bathroom, grab another drink, come back, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a problem. Now they sitting on the stage. So I go to the waitress. I say, hey, listen, them Japtalians over there done took what's reserved for us, but you didn't have the sign there. So I need you to go put the sign there, kick them out, and put the rope up. So when everybody else get here, we'll have our overflow space. She's like, well, Jay, you know, they're spending money. I said, I understand it's money, but I'm gonna need you to do that because it's reserved. You know what I'm saying? And the money that they spending, you're gonna get double. I said, why don't you move them people over there and sit them somewhere else and move those guys over there? Okay, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it. 5 minutes later, the guy who's the manager comes into the room. He's like, Jay, I need to talk to y'all. And so he's like, sit down. So I'm trying to tell everybody to calm down, which is like, it's like going into a frat party and telling all the frat boys to be quiet so you can, you know what I'm saying? So you can talk to them. It's back then they had Sirius satellite radio in there. And so you got Sirius satellite radio playing with 50 Cent playing, people laughing, joking, clowning. I need y'all to sit down. I need y'all to calm down. He goes over, turn down the radio and say, listen, we have some Japanese businessmen who are in town and they have decided they were going to sit in one of their areas. And I just came to see if it was okay with you guys if we let them stay in that area. And so it's crazy. I'm like, I already done told y'all to move them Japtalians out of the area. I told y'all move them. Now, you can talk to everybody else and see how they feel. And I go on about my business, finish doing what I'm doing. So he's trying to convince people one by one, because everybody in there is a member. So you talking about between $2,500 to $5,000 for the membership. You got a lot of people. You ain't just in there just being there. That represents a lot of money that came in the door. So he has to convince them that, it's okay for those guys to sit there. And everybody says no, one by one. No, 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 no. So he has to go over and tell them. He goes to tell them, and they get brolic with him, like talking reckless to him. And so then he comes back. He says, well, I'm going to go downstairs and get security because I told them they got to move, and they don't want to move, and all the rest of this and all the rest of that. So, again, if you've never been there, if you go to the entrance to the House of Blues, which is the base floor entrance, it's this wide gate. You go through there, you make a right, there's a restaurant. You make another hard right. Well, that's the outdoor portion of the restaurant. Make another hard right, you go into the building, and that's where the concerts are. Well, there's this dude, they call him Big Hurt. Big Hurt like 6'8". He fat, but he ain't fat like he can't move. But he fat. But you look at him, he's so big, he sits on a bench. But if he get to moving, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Big dude. So, and he don't like to move from his seat. So anytime Big Hurt had to move from his seat, it was always going to be a problem. And he would sit there, and he'd be the guy that would pat people down, wind them, all the rest of this, bada bing, bada boom. So anytime that man had to move from his seat to come tend to something, you knew it was going to be an issue. And that was always the threat, man. I'm going to go get Big Hurt if y'all don't act right. So Big Hurt comes up there. Come in the room with us. Fellas. And he talk like this. Fellas, I just want to make sure there's no way we can amicably, because he wasn't really articulate. He had a few words that he knew. Fellas, I just want to make sure there's no way we can amicably work this out with these Japanese dudes before I go over here and tell them that they're going to have to move. And so everybody just ignoring them. Like, bro, we already told them dudes they're going to have to move. We got more people coming. They're going to have to go. Everybody go back to party. Now the girls done came in. It's getting wild at this point in time. And so the overflow is happening. What I mean by overflow is now you got people hanging out in the hallway, sitting down in the hallway, which is clogging up the hallway. That's why you have the other little stage area. So now the overflow is happening. People hanging out outside. They're blocking the bathroom for the women. They're knocking over the little statues that are there. And if you've ever been there, on the men's side, there's a female statue with her hands behind her head, like nude statue. On the men's side, it's a nude man statue. On the women's side, there's a nude men's statue outside the doorway, which was crazy, but I feel like it should have been flip-flop, but whatever. Nonetheless, Big Hurt goes and have the conversation with him. They start going crazy with Big Hurt. Next thing you know, you hear this commotion, and he's dragging two of them out of the room towards the steps and throwing them down the steps. Now, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know that these dudes was like super duper rich, like Japanese super duper rich, like stupid rich. Nobody knew. I mean, we figured they had money. We figured they were investors. But nobody knew they were super duper rich. Drag the first two, throw them down. The other two try to attack him, grab them, throw them asses down the steps. And these steps that I'm talking about are the steps that lead down the to the concert hall. So it's like 2 stories down, just stumbling down the steps. And I'm standing there like, damn, he had to do him like that. Then he's like, nah, them some bitches want to fight. You're not gonna sit here and fight me. You don't fight me. And so then he goes down the steps. Now he drags them. This is how embarrassing this is. Drags them through the concert hall. There's one man against 4 people. Literally, Molly Wobson skull drags him through the concert hall, down the other set of steps, down through the restaurant, and back out the front gate. That's like just getting your ass whooped, pardon my language. Um, Put it like this. It's like going to the mall, right? And you're in the center of the mall where the food court is. That's like getting your ass whooped from the food court into the movie theater, into the movie section where everybody's sitting, past all where they sell a popcorn, past the concessions, into the movie theater where everybody's sitting, down the aisle towards the front of the screen, back up the aisle, out the other side of the door, then back out the whole entire movie theater, out to the front of the mall. That's the equivalent of what happened to those dudes. And I'm sitting there like, man, this is wild. This is some wild, crazy stuff, insane stuff. How did I get on that story? I don't know how I got on that story. I don't know how I got. That's why I'm be doing live streams, because I just be telling stories and it's real hilarious, but it's real true stories. Big Hurt died of COVID after he got one of them boobop bings. Rest in peace, Big Hurt. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace. In fact, a lot of those people that worked that died of that boobop bing. Sad, but they went on about their way. What the boobop bing. Well, yeah, bro. When I tell you, I can tell y'all some of the craziest stories. I done been behind hotels in the alleyways when the mayor was fighting somebody. I mean, fist fighting. You don't understand how violent New Orleans is. And when your mayor throwing hands, I mean throwing hands. Like, hey, shoot me a fair one. They go shoot a fair one. Take off a jacket, take off his tie, shoot a fair one. Put his jacket back on, put his tie back on, and both of them go back in there. Like there wasn't no fight. Like wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. New Orleans is a wild city. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. Anyway, I think I used the term Japtalion. That's how I got down that roadway. Yeah, that's how I got there. And there was many crazy nights like that. Many crazy nights with many celebrities that came to New Orleans. The one that I would say um, that's the biggest a-hole is Isaiah Washington. That's his name. That's the guy who played in Blood and Bone with Michael Jai. Now, Mike Jai is the coolest dude on the planet. Isaiah Washington, the biggest a-hole you will ever want to meet. I'm serious. Like, if you happen to be somewhere where Isaiah Washington is, just go about your business. I mean, he's an a-hole, like full on a-hole. And Isaiah, if you see me, you're an a-hole. Um, Another night, we got all that stuff reserved again, and we get there a little bit later than normal because we stopped to go get something to eat. In fact, I get there first, and I'm late. And who was meeting me that night? Yeah, I get there first. I'm a few minutes late. The prayer room was already reserved by. We had this split we had a split in our clique of friends. Um, the split was just due to business. One guy, got pissed off. So then it became this competitive thing, like who would call and reserve the space, right? Um, it, Nothing major. Well, it is major. The guy who ended up provoking the split ended up going to prison for 5 years, right? Because he's a jackass. Nonetheless, we have this split, and so now that space is reserved, but he's holding to. I got 20 people coming, right? And don't want everybody else to come in now. So we got the stage reserved, but it's like 15, 20 of us coming. You gotta understand that space is big, or it was big. I think they renovated it now to where it's just open floor. But it was big and it had seating. But if you had 50, 60 people in there, and 40 of the people was your people, you didn't really have a whole bunch of space, right? So Isaiah's sitting in the space that we got reserved. So I'm sitting there drinking whatever. I think it was Cambridge again. 2 people come, 3 people come, 4 people come. And we had these young cats with us that night. They was in there probably their early 20s, 21, 22, 23. Um, yeah, they was in their early 20s. So now the section's getting packed. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go get the stage. So I go over. Hey man, talk to the waitress. Hey, I don't know who this is at the stage, but we reserve the stage. So he's doing a book signing, right? Now I don't know what made him think anybody was going to like buy a book from him in there. But he wanted to do a book. You do book signings at bookstores. You understand what I'm saying? But he's got the little sign there, and he's sitting behind the rope. He got his security guard, and he's like, she goes over and she's like, well, he says he'll be done with his book signing. And I'm like, no, it's reserved. I don't know who gave him the spot in the first place, but he's a celebrity, right? So it's like, oh, he's a celebrity, he got the spot, bada bing. So I go over and have a conversation with him. I'm like, yo, my man, we had this spot reserved. I'll give you 15, 20 more minutes, but I got a lot of people coming, man. I need you to get up and move. He's like, well, brother, you remind me of, and I'm real adamant about it. He says, you remind me of, damn it, I'm looking at this guy's face. He played in the DMX movie with Anderson. It's a black actor. The last name is Anderson. Damn it, I can't remember the guy's first name. But he's on TV now. He's lost a lot of weight. He's thin. He's got this real big square beard. He's like, man, you remind me of him. You real funny. I said, you think I'm joking? You think I'm kidding? No, bro. Like, this is reserved. Anthony Anderson. Yep. He said, man, you remind me of Anthony Anderson, man. You funny. I said, no. Dog, you're not listening to me. You think I'm joking? We reserved this for a reason. Like, and you doing a book signing at 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, Negro, you sell books in bookstores. This ain't no bookstore. Like, this is not a bookstore, homie. And so his security guard is like reaches in, like he gonna put his hand on me, like, dog, don't touch me. And I'm talking to the man like a man. I said, don't put your hands on me. And so he tells the security guard, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I said, no, it's not gonna be fine. So, bro, give you 15 more minutes, dog. I said, and you'll understand why it's 15 more minutes, because at some point in time, somebody else is gonna have a conversation with you that's not as polite as the conversation I'm having, because we have a reason for being here tonight. So I go back on over by my business. I'm sitting down chilling. The little youngins keep going over there messing with them. But they're crazy. They're crazy. Keep over there, they just like standing around the area, hoovering, like just being in the area. And so the security guard starts getting agitated and aggravated. And so he comes from behind the rope, comes over to where we're sitting. And he says, well, I'm going to need you to tell these dudes that's with you that they need to stop harassing me. He starts screaming and raising his voice. Now, the way I'm sitting is there's this circular, like, how you go into a restaurant and they have the booths that you sit in? It's like the wide booth, except for these are sofas. So it's like a crescent moon, but it extends long, and then the other end is a crescent moon. So it kind of looks like a racetrack with a section, the long section cut out on one side where you can walk in, right? But I'm in the middle of the crescent, and there's this giant table in front of me. There's a dude to the right of me. There's a chick to the left of me. There's a chick to the left of her. There's a dude to the right of the guy that's there, and then his girlfriend is to the right of him. And then The rest of the crescent that goes around is all the rest of our people. So when you walk into that crescent or into that racetrack, you literally surrounded. So he walks in, he just started ranting and raving and going crazy. I mean, like, homie go absolutely insane. And I'm like, yo, dog, you down bad. Like, I've been as polite as I can be. We've been cool about this. I'm like, I don't even understand why you coming up. And he just going off. Do you know who I am? Do you know this? Do you know this? He don't realize 5 dudes done stood up behind him. And now they standing behind him. His security guard is not coming over. The dude that's next to me, he gets up, he starts sliding out, goes to meet the security guard. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, dog, for real, dog. Like, for real, turn around. I don't need to. I said, bro, just turn around, dog, please. I'm not turning. And he cursed, I'm not turning effing. I was like, bro, listen, please, before you keep talking, just turn around. So when he turns around and he realizes that his bodyguard is on the other side of all the rest of these dudes, with a guy facing him down, and his dudes behind him, all that tough guy just, and I said, now, bro, look, how about this? How about you come over here and let us go over there? And we gave you more than enough time. You just come sit right here and do what you got to do. And you could see in his face that he wanted to be like, man, F y'all. You know, because he's looking around, looking at everybody. And I think it was the fact that he looked at the young ladies that we were with, and they were all just giggling. Like, they're just laughing. Like, I mean, laughing, like, like just like bent over laughing. And I think it really shocked them because it's like, yo, why is everybody like, why are the chicks laughing? And he goes, gets his stuff, and he leaves. 2 days later, that happened on a Thursday. Saturday night, we go back, and we get called into the office. Literally called into the office. And sat down. Say, listen, Jay, I'm bringing everybody in one by one. And have a conversation with y'all. It's like he went and talked to, they had just like switched it over to Live Nation. It's like, you know, he went and called the people from Live Nation and told the people at Live Nation, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, dog, we didn't do nothing wrong. Ain't nobody lay no hand on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody do nothing to this dude. And so everybody goes one by one to go meet with the old head. I'm not going to say his name. He died. Rest his soul. Everybody goes to meet with him one by one. And he's like, look, anytime we have an issue like that, man, you know, we would appreciate it if y'all just let the celebrity have the space. And we're like, no, we're not doing that. Because that celebrity is here for a day. We here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week, and sometimes Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you trying to tell me you want to give up all that bread for this one dude because he popped up in here. And we didn't have that problem no more after that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a problem no more. Memphis Smith, the dog man hysteria is calming down because the Godfather of Dog Man don't talk about Dog Man. So what you're watching is Dog Man fall out of the algorithm. Is what you're watching. Because somebody has to hold it up in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? By releasing content. And so Dog Man content creators are seeing less and less views. They're seeing a whole bunch of stuff that ain't working out for them. But hey, you know, all my stuff was fake. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how it is. David, everybody do need to get treated the same, but that ain't how it work, homie. That ain't how this world works. You go to a restaurant, 5 days in a row, leave 100% tip. Next time you go back in that restaurant, I'm going to treat you like a king. Money talk, BS walk. No! I just dropped my lighter. But yeah, bro. Crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? But he was wilding. Like, he was wilding. Out of all of them I ever met, like, he's the biggest a-hole. And what was crazy is everybody else that I met that was like an actor or some kind of performer that met him said the exact same thing. They had a similar experience with him to where they almost had to put hands on him, or some of them did put hands on him on movie sets. like literally tapped him up on movie sets because he was acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's people are really starting to notice the whole dying of Dog Man. The topic. I said it 2 months ago. I said the topic was going to die out. Not he's like, oh, there's no way the Dog Man topic is more popular. No, it ain't. No, it ain't because you don't have the influx of the actual real new stuff for people to steal and then talk about. Because ain't nobody actually doing the real work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're talking about people calling with their encounters, but they're not vetted encounters. So you getting encounters from people just saying, "Oh, I saw Dog Man." That's cool. Nobody saying, "Oh, what you saw? Where you saw that? How many times you saw it? What happened afterwards?" Yeah, it's garbage everywhere. Like the only hope that that community has at this point in time, Vic Cundiff, Jeff Nadal. Both of them would have to increase their production. Vic ain't gonna increase his production because Vic is Mr. Consistent. That's the most consistent dude you'll ever meet. I mean, every Friday since 2014, that man been dropping an episode, and he's doing just fine doing what he's doing. So, only thing happens is it consolidates towards his direction, which I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm thinking he an OG. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely OG, but somebody else gotta drop content probably 6 times a day, 7 times a day to fill the void to bump it up in the algorithm because that's what it really boils down to. But it's an algorithmic thing. It's computers. So now you're gonna see definitely see a falling off of it. It was crazy because even when people didn't understand what I was doing when I was re-uploading content, and I would re-upload while I was waiting for people to give me new stories. It was Dark Waters is all he does is re-upload. Not did it, but they didn't understand, bro. There's a level that this topic is at. If that production drops, the level drops. That production drops, the monetization drops for everybody. So the guy who was re-uploading, which should have been probably shown the most appreciation, but people was ignorant, didn't know. It's like, oh no, this guy's stuff is fake. All they do is re-upload. I want new stuff. I want new stuff. So now you got all the new stuff, which is all lies and fake stuff. So you got what you asked for. You know what I'm saying? You got exactly what you asked for. I'm happy for you. I think people should get exactly what they want. So yeah, topic is dying off, and if you notice now, everybody's swinging towards spiritual warfare. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's swinging a direction in a different way. Well, Memphis, they're gonna put on anybody because it's a system that has to be fed. Like truthfully, it's a system. Like people neglect the fact that the algorithm is a system that if you want to maintain your monetization, you want to maintain whatever you're getting paid, you're gonna have to feed that system. The more you feed it, the more it demands of you. So what ends up happening is, for example, um, let's take Vic. And to be clear, I'm not saying nothing bad about Vic. If I had something bad to say, y'all know I said. So let's take Vic, right? Super consistent every Friday. He maintains that consistency. He maintains that level. It's something that clearly he's designed his business model around, right? If Vic was to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for a month, it would throw off everything that he's done over the past freaking 10, 11 years. It would throw it all off. And then he would be at this new level where he's got to maintain that level of production in order for it to keep at that level. So therein lies the problem, because that's how the algorithm works. Like one of the craziest things is people want to argue about whose content is better, who's this, who's that. I'm better than you. No, bro, you're not competing with me. You know what I'm saying? You competing with a computer, and that's just quite frankly what it is. You competing with me. I know who my competition is. I know it definitely was the ecosystem. I heard a hog man for real. I don't think you bullshitting. Like I've heard of that in Mississippi. Um, so yeah, that definitely was an ecosystem. And I mean, but we building a new infrastructure, a new system. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be fantastic. You see it, it's rolling out quickly. So I think people ought to be careful what they wish for. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes to get a real story, you gotta talk to a lot of people. And if you want real content, you gotta vet those conversations. You gotta have those conversations. The craziest thing is to even get to the real stuff, you gotta come into agreement with people and sometimes break spirits off of people and sometimes fight things that are coming at you from that person just to get to the real stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's people reaching out now from homesteads. I said this before. If you want to find Dogman content, you're gonna need to market. When I was marketing to newspapers, people were saying, "Oh, you're paying people for stories." It's the dumbest shit I ever heard. I'm marketing. It's no different than if somebody ran a Google Ads campaign that was promoting their content. No, I'm marketing, but I know what to market to. And there's certain communities that are off grid that you can't get to them on no damn YouTube. They ain't no internet people, but that's the people who have all the activity. The only time those people actually end up on YouTube talking to somebody is when they after they've had their encounter. And that's after it's gotten so bad that they want to find answers. Then they go online and they go through all kind of trouble to get online. You talking about people who go into McDonald's 2 towns over to get on a computer that they got from the pawn shop to start looking up what they saw. You see what I'm saying? So how do you find those people? You have to market to those people. That they're literally putting in little bitty newspaper ads and little bitty newspapers all over the United States that reach those homestead areas. And then they call. And that's how it works. But it was crazy because, oh, Dark Water, you know, you paying for stores. I mean, y'all fucking retarded. You're not building a model whatsoever. Yeah, like for example, Hawk Tour. Look at it. I think I did 3 Hawk Tour videos. The first one got 800,000 views. The second one got 400,000 views. It's ridiculous stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's how the system works. So, um, but people don't understand. I don't even know on the phone. People don't understand how you really get the real content. Like, take for example, a guy who comes in, talks about a dogman encounter, blows up, gets all these different views, um, settles in to starting his own channel, and then tries to become a force in the dogman community. You got a question. Say, bro, okay, did you create an origin story or is your story real? But see, if nobody vets that person before they give them that access, you don't know. But if you vet them, you start talking to them, you're like, yo, so who else have you reached out to tell your story? And they say, I reached out to this person, I reached out to this person. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna carry your story. And bro, you can go. There's been plenty of people I done told, nah, bro, you good. I'm not gonna carry your story. Well, why won't you carry my story? Because it's already been told. Why do I need to tell it? Why do you need to tell it again? If you need to tell it 20, 30 times, then you're building something. I'm sorry, that it is what it is. Now, if you're gonna tell that story plus other things that happened to you, that's a whole nother thing. But if you're gonna tell that same story 20, 30 times, 20 different places, all right, bro, you building something. And I respect it. That's what you want to do. But I'm gonna look at you from that lens. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. Yeah, bro, you definitely got to pay for the advertising. You know how many people call me when I stop advertising? When they've been having standing advertisements, when they've been auto draft for 5, 6 years, little bitty newspapers. Hey, Mr. Williams, we see that you canceled the auto draft on this. Man, y'all have no clue. Y'all have absolutely no clue what it means. I'm not saying I ain't covering that no more. No clue. But I like what we're talking about now a lot more, because the truth of the matter is, um, you would comb through 90% bullshit to get to 10% real stuff. And the process of combing through it is exhaustive. You know what I'm saying? And then you would comb through 90% of it to get to the 10%. And then people would try and roadblock the 10% of truth that got out, and would promote the 90% lies. So it's like, man, that is what it is. Well, I'll tell you what, my 10% that's out there will stand against anybody's 10%, not even their 90, forever. Confident in that, because it's the real deal. 100% the real deal. So it's one of them plays, man. Smoke break almost over. I got work to do because I got a job, babe. I got work to do. I'm interested in seeing what else has transpired today on this beautiful green earth that God created. I'm very interested in fighting with YouTube to get this Klaus Schwab video out. I'll tell you again, the most craziest thing is they hit me saying it wasn't suitable for ads, and I was reading the Wall Street Journal. I'm literally reading what the Wall Street Journal. Well, I'm kind of going ham at the same time, but I'm reading what the Wall Street Journal is saying, and they're saying, "Oh, it's not ad suitable." I'm like, "That's wild." So one of your partners, because the Wall Street Journal has something on YouTube about this that's talking about the same thing that I'm talking about, but it's not advertiser friendly for me, but it's advertiser friendly for them. To talk about Klaus being a molester and a harasser. Is that like a comfort dog or something? She can't be blind. She walked over there without the dog. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all I can say is we about that awesome content. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to get out of here and get started. Get to knocking out some things. Late start don't mean it's not gonna be productive. It just means you got to move fast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get me a bottle of water. Eat me one of these salad wraps with a little bit of ham and cheese. Get up in here. Probably drive my neighbors crazy because they have to hear me going ham on the microphone. While they and it's crazy because one of the people who's next to me is a counselor where she counsels people with like a marriage counselor. And so she got to hear me sitting in there ranting and raving about the New World Order. And you ought to see the looks this lady gives me sometimes. She be hilarious. Because I had the door cracked and I just be ranting and raving and she'll just come out and look like, the hell is he talking about? I go read the news, Trick. Go read the news. You know what I'm saying? Go read the news. But I'm cooking a pie for y'all. You know, normally yearly I would have Dog Man Weekend during the summer. I might place that with another type of weekend, um, which I think gonna be dope. But I'm not really gonna do a whole bunch of announcing. It's just gonna start boom, 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 boom. Cause I don't need everybody stealing my ideas and running with them. You know what I'm saying? All right, let me get up out of here. Peace.